I have watched the night sky for decades, and never, not once, have I seen something that made every equation, every model, every assumption about our solar system's stability irrelevant. Until 3I Atlas arrived. Before we begin, I need you to do something. Comment your city name below and tell me, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky recently? Any shifts in the stars? Any feelings you can't explain when you look up after dark? NASA has been quietly collecting reports from civilians across the globe, and what I'm about to share may change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. What happened 3 months ago wasn't supposed to be possible. 3. I-Atlas, an interstellar object, a visitor from beyond our solar system, didn't just pass through our cosmic neighborhood. It did something that forced scientists at NASA, the European Space Agency, and observatories across 6 continents to recalibrate their instruments. Not because they malfunctioned, but because the readings they were getting defied the fundamental laws of celestial mechanics we've relied on since Newton. I'm a theoretical physicist. I've spent my life exploring the boundaries of space, time, and the fabric of reality itself. I've theorized about parallel universes, wormholes, and the nature of consciousness. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what 3I Atlas revealed about the architecture of our solar system and the forces that govern it. Let me take you back to the beginning. The first time we detected 3I Atlas, it appeared as a faint smudge on the edge of our solar system, moving at a velocity that immediately caught our attention. Interstellar objects aren't new to us. We've seen Oumuamua, we've tracked 2I Borisov. These are cosmic wanderers, ejected from distant star systems, drifting through the void for millions of years before briefly passing through our little corner of the galaxy. They follow predictable trajectories. They obey the laws of gravity. They don't do anything except pass by. 3I Atlas was different. When the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, first flagged it, astronomers assumed it was another comet or rogue asteroid. But within 72 hours, something strange began to happen. As 3I Atlas approached the outer boundary of our solar system, instruments detecting gravitational fluctuations started reporting anomalies. Subtle at first. A slight perturbation in Neptune's orbit. A minor deviation in the trajectory of several Kuiper belt objects. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to make scientists pause. Then the recalibrations began. Planetary systems are extraordinarily stable. The orbits of planets are dictated by gravity, mass, and momentum. Forces so precise that we can predict the position of Jupiter or Saturn centuries into the future with near perfect accuracy. When something disrupts that balance, even slightly, it sends ripples through the entire system. And 3I Atlas wasn't just causing ripples, it was rewriting the rhythm. Within a week, observatories around the world were reporting the same thing. The orbital resonances of the outer planets were shifting. Not dramatically, not enough to cause immediate danger, but enough to require a recalibration of every predictive model we use to track planetary motion. It was as if 3I Atlas had reached into the invisible threads that hold our solar system together and tugged on them, gently but deliberately. I remember the night I received the call. It was late. I was reviewing lecture notes on string theory when my phone rang. It was a colleague from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Her voice was calm, but I could hear the tension beneath it. She said, "Michio, we need you to look at something. It's about 3I Atlas. We think it's aware. That word hung in the air like a ghost. I asked her what she meant. She told me that the trajectory corrections 3I Atlas was making, the subtle adjustments in its path as it moved through our solar system, weren't random. They were calculated. Every time it passed near a gravitational well, it altered its course in a way that maximized gravitational assist while minimizing energy expenditure. It was navigating, not drifting, navigating." And then she told me the part that made my blood run cold. The recalibrations weren't just affecting our instruments, they were affecting the planets themselves, as if 3I Atlas was sending a signal, a gravitational signal, that our solar system was responding to. I flew to Pasadena the next morning. When I arrived at JPL, the room was filled with some of the brightest minds in astrophysics, planetary science, and theoretical mathematics. The data was spread across multiple screens, and everyone was silent. They weren't arguing, they weren't debating. They were staring at the evidence in front of them, trying to process what it meant. One of the scientists, a woman who had spent her career studying exoplanetary systems, finally spoke. She said, "If this object is capable of influencing planetary orbits through intentional gravitational manipulation, then it's not just an object, it's a tool. And if it's a tool, then someone or something sent it." The implications of that statement crashed over the room like a wave. If 3I Atlas was a probe, a piece of alien technology designed to interact with planetary systems, then we weren't just observing a cosmic anomaly. We were being observed, studied, measured. But why? Why would an advanced extraterrestrial intelligence send something into our solar system that forces planetary recalibration? What purpose could that serve? That's when the second discovery was made. Deep space listening arrays, instruments designed to detect faint radio signals from distant stars, began picking up something unusual, a low-frequency pulse, rhythmic and precise, emanating from the region of space where 3I Atlas had entered our solar system. At first, scientists thought it was interference, background noise from cosmic radiation, but when they analyzed the signal more closely, they realized it wasn't noise. It was information. The signal was structured. It had patterns, repetitions, mathematical sequences embedded within it, and it was being broadcast continuously, sweeping across the solar system like a lighthouse beam. It wasn't directed at Earth. It wasn't directed at any specific planet. It was being sent to the system itself. I was asked to help decode it. My background in theoretical physics and information theory made me one of the few people equipped to interpret what we were seeing. For weeks, I worked alongside cryptographers, linguists, and artificial intelligence researchers, trying to extract meaning from the signal, and slowly, piece by piece, we began to understand. The message wasn't a greeting, it wasn't a warning, it was a command. It was telling our solar system to stabilize. Let me explain what that means. Planetary systems evolve. Over millions of years, gravitational interactions between planets, moons, and other celestial bodies cause orbits to shift, resonate, and sometimes destabilize. In extreme cases, planets can be ejected from their systems entirely, flung into the cold void of interstellar space. Our solar system has been relatively stable for billions of years, but that stability isn't permanent. It's maintained by a delicate balance of forces that could theoretically be disrupted. What 3I Atlas appeared to be doing was enforcing that stability. It was acting as a cosmic regulator, a kind of gravitational tuning fork that ensured the planets remained in their proper orbits, their proper resonances, and the signal it was broadcasting, that low-frequency pulse, was the mechanism by which it communicated with the system, not with us, with the system itself. Think about what that means. An intelligence advanced enough to send a probe across interstellar space, capable of manipulating gravity and communicating with planetary systems on a fundamental level. An intelligence that sees solar systems not as collections of lifeless rocks and gas, but as organized structures that need to be maintained, curated, controlled. But controlled for what purpose? That question haunted me. It still does. I began to think about the concept of a galactic civilization, a type the 3 civilization on the Kardashev scale, one capable of harnessing the energy of an entire galaxy. If such a civilization existed, how would it manage the countless star systems under its influence? How would it ensure stability, prevent chaos, maintain order across billions of light years? The answer, I realized, was automation. Just as we send satellites to monitor Earth's climate, just as we deploy AI to manage complex systems, a galactic civilization would deploy probes like 3I Atlas to monitor and regulate planetary systems. These probes would travel from star to star, entering each system, assessing its stability, making adjustments where necessary, and then moving on to the next. We weren't being invaded, we were being maintained. And that thought, that realization, was more terrifying than any alien invasion scenario I had ever imagined, because it meant we weren't special, we weren't unique. We were just another system in a vast cosmic network, one of billions being monitored by an intelligence so far beyond us that we couldn't even comprehend its motives. But there was something else, something the signal revealed that we didn't expect. Buried within the low-frequency pulse was a secondary layer of information, a kind of metadata that described the state of our solar system. It cataloged the positions of the planets, the composition of their atmospheres, the presence of water, organic molecules, and life. It knew we were here. Not just that life existed on Earth, but that we were on the verge of something significant. The signal contained markers that suggested our solar system was being flagged for a specific reason. The data indicated that we were approaching a threshold, a point in our evolution where our technological development would soon allow us to detect, understand, and potentially interfere with the very mechanisms 3I Atlas was designed to maintain. In other words, we were being watched because we were about to become aware of the cosmic infrastructure that surrounds us, aware of the network of intelligences that manage the galaxy, aware that we are not the architects of our own cosmic destiny, but participants in a system far older and more complex than we ever imagined. The scientists at NASA didn't know how to process this. Some argued that we should attempt to communicate with 3I Atlas to send our own signal in response. Others believed we should remain silent, observing without interfering, afraid that drawing attention to ourselves might trigger something we couldn't predict. There were debates, arguments, emergency meetings with government officials and military advisors. But in the end, the decision was made to monitor and wait, and then 3I Atlas left. After completing its passage through the inner solar system, the object accelerated, using a gravitational slingshot maneuver around the Sun to propel itself back into interstellar space. Its trajectory was precise, calculated to carry it toward another star system approximately 40 light-years away. Within weeks, it had vanished from our instruments, leaving behind only the faint echo of its signal and the lingering questions it had raised. But the recalibrations continued. Even after 3I Atlas departed, the adjustments it had made to our planetary orbits remained. The resonances it had fine-tuned continued to stabilize the system, ensuring that the delicate balance of forces would persist for thousands, perhaps millions of years. It had done its job, and now it was gone, moving on to the next system, the next task, the next silent act of cosmic maintenance. I often think about what this means for humanity. We've spent centuries believing we were alone, that the universe was a vast, empty stage on which we were the only actors. We've searched for extraterrestrial intelligence, hoping to find a signal, a message, proof that we weren't solitary in the cosmos. And now we've found it. But it's not what we expected. The intelligence we discovered doesn't want to talk to us. It doesn't want to teach us, guide us, or even acknowledge our existence in any meaningful way. It sees us the way we might see bacteria in a petri dish. Interesting, perhaps, but not worthy of conversation. We are part of the system it maintains, nothing more. And yet there's something deeply profound about that, because it means we exist within a framework of cosmic order that transcends our understanding. It means the universe isn't chaotic, random, or indifferent. It's managed, curated, organized by intelligences that operate on scales of time and space we can barely fathom. But here's the question that keeps me awake at night. What happens when we outgrow our role? What happens when our technology advances to the point where we can manipulate gravity, alter planetary orbits, travel between stars? What happens when we stop being passive participants in the cosmic network and start trying to change it? Will the probes return? Will they recalibrate us the way they recalibrated our planets? Or will something else happen? Something we can't predict, can't prepare for, can't stop? I don't have the answers. No one does. But what I do know is this: 3I Atlas was a message, not in words, not in signals we could easily decode, but in action. It told us that we are part of something larger, something ancient, something that has been watching over the galaxy long before we ever looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. The night sky is no longer just a canvas of distant lights. It's a network, a living, breathing system of intelligence and order that stretches across the cosmos. And we, for better or worse, are now aware of it. Follow this channel as we continue decoding the universe's final warnings, because if 3I Atlas was the first visitor, it won't be the last. So I ask you this: If the galaxy is maintained by intelligences we can't comprehend, and if humanity is on the verge of disrupting the very systems designed to keep us stable, what happens next? What does it mean to be free in a universe that's already decided our place within it? Comment your thoughts below, because I believe the answer isn't something we'll find in the stars. It's something we'll have to discover within ourselves.